I'm dusty, and the guitar, well, the body is sanded. This is a refinish. The neck is actually pretty much perfect, so I'm just going to leave that. And this is now going to turn into me showing you guys. For some reason, I felt like I'm going to go tag something. I don't have any skill with the spray can. We have two. We have high build guitar finishing oil and penetrating guitar finishing oil. And combined, I'm incredibly happy with this. So the penetrating guitar finishing oil is the standard guitar finishing oil that you guys have been using for the last 2 or 3 years since I developed it. And consistently people said, oh, I love it, absolutely gorgeous, but is there any way you can create a higher build finish that's compatible? And we did. So that's it. I'm going to start off with the penetrating and go from there. Now, this guitar, there is a slight difficulty in that I have wood and I have the epoxy filled star. Let's go with star. And we need to polish that star at the same time as applying finish. I can't go through to 3,000-4,000 grit on here and get it. I don't want to. What I'm going to do is the standard process actually for applying guitar finishing oil, which is rub it in with wet and dry paper. I also have this secret sauce. If this works, I'm going to make a big deal about it towards the end of this video. If it doesn't, you'll never hear about it again. Ooh. Gloves. And action. All right, as with anything, shake the oil first a little bit, and let's get going. Both hands, one hand. One hand, let's be cool. I love this bit. I absolutely love this bit. Okay, I'm applying with white tissue paper. Slightly abrasive, polishes up rather well. I don't know. This is the best bit. All right, I'm starting with 1200 grit paper and more oil. And then this is all I'm rubbing in across the grain and basically filling the grain, but also polishing at the same time. And this gives the best possible finish. The only difference is this time I'm also trying, at least, to polish the diamonds. So, across the grain, or in circles, doesn't really matter at this point. As you go across the grain, you're pushing stuff into the grain. If you go with the grain, it pulls it out. Guitar finishing oil isn't non-toxic. It's not particularly toxic. It has similar ingredients to other similar oils. This company in question, crack it. I don't know, I haven't got a clue. True oils say that you should dip your fingers in true oil and use that to apply it. That is bad for you. I know, I've had chemists look at what's in it. It's not good. Anyway, so wear gloves. I actually quite often forget this step, but yeah, you really shouldn't. Okay, anyway, I've applied the first coat on the front, and because it's penetrating oil, it is disappearing rather rapidly and going in. I am now going to do the same thing around the edges and see what happens. So a little bit of secret sauce. You might have noticed I really do rather enjoy experimenting and playing around with stuff and just, you know, throw it at the wall and see if it sticks, and if it does, it's pasta. Okay. Yes, I am using a fantastic Isaac & Sons sort of 100-plus-year-old pointing tool, because it's actually really good at the job. What am I doing? Here we go, in we go. Fill the grain. End grain. Who knew? Do you know what? I've got to be nearly a couple of hundred guitars in at this stage. I still despise sanding in this area. Okay. Now, I don't want to leave that drip to dry, really. I want to penetrate. Pretty. Has anybody guessed what this powder is yet? So essentially this is a final sanding for the guitar, and while a little bit tedious, is really important because it gives you a better final finish, and that really is the secret. You can have any number of super secret, fantastic processes and excellent, incredibly expensive finishes, and you know, if you haven't prepared properly for the finish, and if you haven't sanded the instrument down properly, and if you don't spend the time while you're doing the actual finish, then the final result is still going to look like a cheap guitar. The real trick is that you've got to work, which is sad because I don't like sanding. Okay, so I think that grain filler is fairly well in there. We've also sort of reached saturation point where the oil that I've applied is now sitting on the surface rather than going deep inside. So we're at 1200 grit. That's a fairly matte finish there. I have got 1500 and 2000 grit to go. And what I'm going to do now is rub off all excess material. And then I need to leave this to cure over, okay, I can't see my watch. I'm going to let this just sit and cure. It's a fairly warm day here in the UK. I've got the windows shut so you can hear me on the microphone. And I reckon 15 or 20 minutes is really all I really need before we move on to the high build finish. And and then the fun will begin. Now the last thing you want to do is leave finish to dry in a pool or in a drip or anything like that. because that will dry and you will end up with something that you have to then sand down again. So always get the excess off. And remember that you have cavities. So for example, there's a little bit of finish in the pickup cavity here. I have to get that out so that when I set the guitar up, we don't end up with drips down the front that we don't forget about. Pretty, no? Guitar's quite attractive too. Due to the warmth and to my addition of El Secret Ingrediento, this is curing a little bit faster than I thought, which is something that you do have to be aware of. The quicker it cures, well, basically at this stage, if this cures much further, then I would have to add a little bit more finish. In fact, I'm going to do that anyway, because the back had less in. So, where are we? Sand. Sand? That's dust. Shush. Stop. Just hush. Okay. Now I also have holes in the guitar that go all the way through to the front. So this penetrating oil is going to go all the way through. Okay. You alright? I'm alright. Arm's getting a bit sore, but you know, I'm doing sort of oil application demo video type thing. And, it's a bit hard on the old muscles. They don't really exist, you see, it's the problem. You good though? Yeah? You doing what while you're watching my videos? Crikey. Okay, see, this oil came through the top. That's fine. What we have here, you fantastic people, is already a fairly respectable finish. And you know, if I hang this guitar up, you know, a couple more coats of this would actually be pretty damn attractive. And this is the oil that we've been using on a lot of our production guitars for the last couple of years. And you can build up a relatively good finish. Well, I mean, a really good finish. A relatively glossy finish, I meant to say, using just the penetrating guitar finishing oil. The next step, though, just cuts that whole process in half. One last check for drips. This is where you find dents or scratches that you missed in the final sanding, etc. But no, that looks good. Okay, the guitar's going to hang up. Oh, the camera followed me. I was... Alrighty, back from lunch, and I've been thinking. Okay, I have this powder. I want to mix it in with the high build guitar finishing oil. This has had more than enough time to dry now, and yeah, that's basically it. The application method that I had for the powder worked, I think, well enough. Anybody figured out what it is yet? There we go. Leave a little bit of air so that can mix in. Okay. All right, we're good. So the powder's actually going to become suspended in there, I hope. Woohoo! Success. Okay. I am going to apply a couple of coats of high build guitar finishing oil. The first one out of this bottle with the suspicious looking liquid in it, and the second will be fresh and clean with no powder in it at all. And after that, I suspect we shall be done. But let's go high speed, 1,000 times normal, just for funsies. Shoot me now, I said funsies. All right. Ah, glove. Don't you just love reusing? It's horrible, isn't it? I hate using gloves. That it's necessary, but by gum. Yeah, let's go. Jump. And this is, oh no, wait, haha, I forget. 1,500, aha, there we go. 1,500, and some scissors, El Scissoroo. Scissor, I don't know what's wrong with me right now. No, I do. Stick it. There we go. That is a much easier application. And it's also polishing. I need a hook in the end. Okay, so I jumped a gun there. I jumped the gun. I'm happy with the finish, so I decided not to polish with 2,000 grit, although I'm second guessing myself as we see. Oh, fine. Give me 2,000. There we go. There's 2,000. Okay. Okay, so the last application of oil that we have on here at the moment had none of the powder in. It's just the high build guitar oil, and there we go. Okay, high build guitar oil. There we go. So this just gets applied. Now the real trick is we have to leave this. The time varies, as I said earlier, depending on how warm it is in wherever it is that you currently are. I know many of you are in cold, dreary, fluorescent light lit sheds, and I apologize profusely. But if you're in a nice warm workshop, then it generally takes about 10 minutes or so to start setting. And the trick really is to not leave this rag unattended. When you finish with it, it will catch fire. Seriously, this isn't bullshit. Okay, so I'm going to leave this hanging for a while. It's very difficult to describe, but as I run my finger over that, there's absolutely no friction whatsoever. It just moves. As it starts to get tacky, that's when you want to start taking it off. And that's it, essentially. This is the real way to apply it. Put the first couple of coats on with wet and dry paper, the penetrating oil first, then one coat of the high build oil. If you want a really, really good finish, apply that as well with 1,200 or 1,500 good wet and dry paper. And then probably 2 coats of high build done this way. So you apply it, hang it up, let it almost set, and then we come back and we rub all of the excess oil off. Do not leave a single iota of oil that hasn't already dried. And that is almost counterintuitive, but that's how the finish builds up. So there we go. Why am I still talking? Hang the guitar up. Ba-dum. Tish. All right, okay, we're cool, we're done. This is good. I need to rub this down furiously. And that's it. So we've got just a little bit of this tension now. So you can see yeah, it's beginning to cure. And with it, how's that for a finish? So, this is almost dry to the touch. That's the way to describe it. It's a finish. It's a finish. It's almost finished. I'm finishing the finish. Okay, so, well, we've only had one proper application of the high build because I was playing around with an extra ingredient, and so essentially this really has had one coat of the high build guitar finishing oil as it is supposed to be applied. Now I'm going to leave this for a couple of days, mainly because I'm not here tomorrow. I will apply one more coat, and then we'll be able to see what the finish can look like with just the one coat. But this is now, well, at a level where I would be happy to sell it. I do want to see how many coats it takes to get to a sort of medium gloss build. Maybe another 2 or 3. I think on the bottle we say 3 or 4 coats for the best possible finish. So matte to gloss depending on number of applications. Rapidly builds up a fine finish with a minimum of fuss. It's a little bit fussy. Long life install correctly. Leave to cure 2 to 4 hours before applying next coat. Best results after 3 to 4 coats. So there we go. Back in a few days. Cheerio. because it's actually, in spite of the elbow grease, really easy. There's no rubbing down with wet and dry paper or anything like that. You don't have to flatten it off unless you leave it on for too long and let it cure. It's just a good finish. So, well, there we go. Anyway, we're at the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being awesome. Click like and subscribe and all that jazz. Go to crimsonguitars.com and check out our range of finishes and oils and stains and bits and pieces. And well, come back for the next video. In the final or penultimate video of this series, I am going to put the hardware on, put some strings on, do a bit of a setup if it's required. We're going to get the whole guitar wired up and playing, and then the final video you will see, I'm assuming Phil do a demo. And you can buy the guitar currently, I suppose. It is in stock. So at some point in the next couple of days, or couple of weeks, sorry, this is going to be live on the website. If you are interested, in all seriousness, drop James an email, office@crimsonguitars.com, because there are rather a lot of you out there. I love my life so much.